So if you probably know me, you know that I work during bouts of inspiration. I will record 6 podcast episodes in one day. I will pump out 5 blog posts in a week. I work when I have the energy and excitement and inspiration to do that. And there are a few reasons for that. But partially it's because I want to keep my schedule flexible for when something amazing comes along and I want to share those opportunities with you. And that is exactly what's happened this weekend. If you're listening in real time in late February, mid to late February, Get It Done Week is something you need to know about. And it's happening the week of February 20th, 2023. If you're not listening in real time, feel free to fast forward this 30 seconds. But if you are listening in real time, you need to know about it. You're going to hear in the next few episodes me talk about a TRIPWIRE offer. Basically what this means is taking those freebies that you've been sharing and pumping out and creating, taking all this time to put in, and learning how you can make sales off the back of that, which I think is huge. It can do so much for you and your business. If you want to learn more about that, you'll definitely love this episode and this series of episodes where you hear this little intro. And I'd love for you to actually come and make one with me next week. I did a course with Elizabeth Goddard called TRIPWIRE Training. She's running a live version of this the week of February 20th in a Facebook group. It's $47. And if you purchase through my affiliate link, you get a couple of bonuses. You're going to get a checklist that literally walks you through how you can use your TPT resources to create a TRIPWIRE offer with upsells and downsells and everything in between. And you even have it sectioned off so you can choose your playbook. You can choose to focus on selling a course with it, selling a membership, selling a high ticket bundle that you have on TPT, or even just a resource that sells really well, and even a done for you service if you're a service provider like me. So if you want that, you can definitely grab the link for that in my show notes if you just want the checklist, or anyone who gets the course, either the DIY version if you're listening in not real time, or the live Get It Done Week workshop version, you will get this bonus as well. And on this checklist, it's not just a checklist. I do have it in Google Docs, but I also have mini video tutorials that literally walk you through how to do each of the steps. So this thing is really good. Honestly, it could be a mini course in its own. So I hope you grab all those things, and I hope you find these episodes super helpful. Hello and welcome to the Social Media Magic Podcast, the perfect podcast for TPT sellers, teacherpreneurs, and teacher business owners who consider themselves to be introverts. Each episode shares all kinds of ideas, tips, tactics, and strategies to help you make more sales and grow your community on social media. Without further ado, let's get on to today's episode. If you're listening to this in real time, February to early March 2023, then you're in time to register for the Short Form Funnel Summit. It's completely free March 3rd through 6th, and it's audio only, which means you don't have to spend a whole bunch of time on social media or staring at a screen. What we're really doing is sharing words from experts to help you have short form video that converts potential followers into subscribers on your email list and sales for your products, which is what we really want at the end of the day. We're going to be talking about TikToks, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, and even short form video on platforms like Twitter and LinkedIn that get a little bit neglected and ignored. If you know you're going to be busy that weekend, or if you know you want a little more support, there will be an option to upgrade to an all access pass, and the price will go up closer to the dates. So if you know you're going to want to get that, get it as soon as possible so you can save it. All of those links are in the show notes, or if you need a little more info, you can DM me on Instagram over at Brittany Verlenich. Hello and welcome back to the Social Media Magic Podcast. My name is Brittany Verlenich. I am the host of this show, a total marketing nerd, content strategist, social media manager, and a whole bunch of other things, which doesn't really matter. But I got this idea, honestly, because of an event that's happening next week. And I usually don't launch things last minute like this, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. It's been so helpful to me, what I'm learning right now. And I think that's kind of a hallmark of my brand. I know that a lot of people position themselves as experts and authorities in the online space. And I do know a lot. I've learned a lot about social media marketing and list building on social media since I've been doing this for about 5 years now. But I'm always learning something new. And I love that I can bring you guys behind the scenes and tell you what's working, what I'm trying, and what I'm experimenting with right now. I am super excited about creating evergreen funnels right now. So just to give you like a heads up on what an evergreen funnel is. So when we think about the different ways that we can put things out into the world, typically we have 2 ways. We can evergreen it, which just means it's available all the time for anyone who wants it. And this is pretty much what we're used to as people who sell on online marketplaces like TPT, Etsy, Amazon. You can go and buy that thing any single time. We're really relying heavily on search engine optimization on those marketplaces themselves, and also any traffic that we're driving to those products. whether we're using ads or organic marketing, long form content like blogs, podcasts, and YouTube, all that jazz. I have been getting really into creating evergreen funnels with email marketing lately, and it's just super exciting. There's so much you can do. So I thought I would share 7 ways that you can grow your email list without creating more freebies, because this is a pain point I hear a lot in the online teacher space. A lot of times when you're first starting out with TPT2, you have 2 problems. You don't have a lot of money yet, so you can't necessarily invest in a course or in a coach or have somebody come and do these things for you. Maybe even just buying a bundle of templates is a lot for you right now. A mini rant with that too is that we often think that we're going to go through these phases and steps that are going to be automatically like, I'm going to have a few months where I make $0 to $20, and then I'm going to make a few months where I'm going to make $20 to $50, and then after that's me $50 to $100. It doesn't always work that way. We have ebbs and flows. You might have months where you make $500, and then you have months where you make $20. You might have a month where you make $5,000, and then all of a sudden there's an SEO dip or change to an algorithm, and you make half that amount. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm just saying it to normalize it, because I think a lot of times people who are selling courses or coaching or expertise position it like, oh, once you get to this phase, everything is just going to be hunky-dory. But that's not true. There's the idea of new level, new devil. As you progress and change in your business and as you grow, you're going to have different kinds of problems, but also with different seasons of life, your capacity is going to change. What you're able to do and what you will want will change. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of reassurance that if things aren't going the way you think they should right now, you don't have to worry for some magic pill that's going to make everything go the way you want it to. In fact, things are probably going to change again, you'll evolve again, and then things will be different. So give yourself the space and grace for that to happen. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about 7 ways to grow your email list without creating more freebies so you can start setting up those evergreen funnels, because that's what we really want at the end of the day, right? We wanted passive income. That's why a lot of us started on TPT, selling on sites like Amazon and Etsy. So let's talk about ways to do that without creating more freebies, because I know that is a huge time suck, and it can be really frustrating to do that because you're like, why am I spending all of my time creating free things and creating free content for those free things? Okay, so one way that you probably already could anticipate that I'm going to say is you could use a Facebook group as a freebie. You could use that as your actual lead magnet or opt-in offer. This is all about positioning, right? Like when you're talking about growing your email list and list building with social media, you're really positioning your group as a place to be because they're going to get a specific result for a certain person. That's a really great way to name your group, by the way. So if they're learning about templates and tutorials for Algebra 2 teachers, it's very, very clear what the benefit of that group is going to be. There's a good reason for them to go because they're going to get templates, they're going to get tutorials, they're going to get training and support that's going to help them. And that's something they can't just get on TPT, because yes, you could sell videos and things like that, but that hands-on interaction, being able to ask and answer questions in real time on maybe like an FB group live stream, is going to be something you can't get on TPT. And it's something you can't really get on an email list either, because all of the conversations are asynchronous, right? Which maybe is more of what you want if you want something that's passive, but you have to think, how are you positioning the group and what are you offering in your group? That's why you really want to have a strategy when it comes to Facebook groups, and we'll get into that more another time. But you can position the group as the freebie. So that way you can set up an opt-in today that leads to the group, so you can collect their email address, or you can share your group link when you're doing podcast guest opportunities, when you're creating long-form content, and have that link be where they join the group. And then you can set up your membership questions. One of the questions, ask them for their email address. That's a way to collect and start growing your list without having to create another freebie. Another way is just through strategic linking on your social media profiles. This is a big part of my list building strategy with social media. So think about all of the different places where you can add a link. Your Instagram profile, your Facebook personal profile, which most people don't use. If you use your Facebook personal profile, you could even put a link to your group or to your opt-in, whatever it is, on your cover photo. So some people have a lot of freebies and offers, but they're just not strategically placing them in places where people go and snoop and check out. I get a lot of passive email growth just from strategically linking my profiles. So do that. It doesn't take very long, and it could mean even if it's only tens more a day, that's more people on your email list, and it compounds over time. Another thing you can do to be able to kind of create a freebie, quote unquote, without having to make a new one is repurposing the freebies you already have on TPT. look at what you have for your resources. Could you take one of those freebies that you've listed on TPT, put it into a squeeze page where someone has to enter their name and email address first before they get the freebie, and then link that everywhere? Because especially if you're driving traffic to it with different groups and things, it doesn't make as much sense to send the link to the freebie that's on TPT, because all you're doing is driving traffic to that, unless there's maybe like it's included in a bundle and they get that upsell option. But if they're just going to the freebie and they're not buying anything, then you might as well get the email address. And then if you have a welcome sequence that sells a related resource or bundle, then you have that possible sale later. Or you could set it up so that there's a tripwire for a paid product once they get the freebie. And we'll talk about that in future episodes. So look at your freebies in your TPT store and think, what could I create a funnel for? What could I set up a lead page for? What could I set up even email service provider? You might have a page builder tool in there, or you might just use WordPress or Squarespace. What could you make from what you already have? Okay, I kind of just mentioned this, but I realized I didn't give a definition. So I mentioned squeeze pages. All a squeeze page is it's a page that you see before you get the thing that collects your name and email address. So you could kind of think of this as like an opt-in page, but you could just set that up on your YouTube channel, your podcast, your blog post, and have that link to whatever it is that you're wanting them to go to. You might not want to do this. This is an option, but it's just something to think about. So instead of just linking to your podcast, which by the way, this could be tricky too, because what if they listen to their podcast on a different platform than what you shared? Instead, what you could do is create a page on your website or with lead pages or with your email service provider page builder, and you could list all of the different platforms on one page that's nice and easy for them to access, and then have a squeeze page before that page where they enter their name and email. So now you have their email address and they have a convenient page where they can go and click and choose their platform, especially if they're going on their phone, because it's probably most likely going to take them to their actual app on their phone than just going to the online desktop version, because most people listen on their phones with podcasts. So setting up a squeeze page is something you can do with basically anything. You can do it for your podcast. You can do it for your YouTube channel. I mean, there's so much you could do. You could even set up a guest podcasting page to like, here are all of my main resources. Here are all of my links on social media. And you could get their email address right then. So that way you could be getting more subscribers from your podcast guesting. In fact, you could even on your everything page, you could put different links to the freebies you have so they can self-select. And if you have your tag set up in your email service provider, then you'll know which welcome sequences they're most interested in getting and which funnels they should be added to, which if we're trying to evergreen our marketing and make sales on autopilot, that's a great way to do it. This one you might know, but this is especially for anyone who has a website or is focusing on blogging for content marketing. Don't underestimate the power of forms and pop-ups on your website. I know a lot of us are kind of torn or we have feelings when it comes to pop-ups, but there are so many ways that you can do them. Like you don't have to do the traditional, when you're exiting a blog post, a pop-up comes up, although it is very effective and you could do that. You can have slider pop-ups that aren't as intrusive, that kind of just slide into place. So maybe after so many minutes of reading, they get to go onto your email list with that. And you also have inline forms. Like you could have it in the middle of a blog post saying, hey, if you like what you're reading, you would love my newsletter. You can also position the email list as a place to be. We don't always have to feel like we have to do an exchange, because the email list itself is a valuable place to be if you're focused on creating content there, because really email newsletters are a form of long form content. So if you're putting a lot of value in there, and if it's free for your subscribers, that is an excellent resource. And really that can be a freebie in itself if you position it right with your messaging and copywriting. This is something I haven't seen a lot of TPT sellers and teacher creators do, but I think it could be really effective, and I think it would give you really good data, is you could do A/B split testing for your freebies, especially if you're using something like lead pages. So what you could do is take the same freebie, switch up the copy and the messaging on the sales page or the opt-in page, for it, and just watch what happens. Like which page gets a better click-through rate? Which one gets people more excited to opt in? That would just be so interesting. And that's something you could easily do in Facebook groups, in collaborative groups, in groups that maybe allow for promotion, or even just on your email list. You can ask them in a button and have a tag go to the button. Which are you most interested in? Because you could have a Math Center bundle, for example, and you could have one button that says, done for you Math Centers for a week. Or you could say, here are all the activities I use that made my students not bug me during teacher time or whatever. You know what I mean? So that way you can kind of figure out what is the main reason that people are getting that freebie and then eventually getting the product that's related to that. Finally, this is one major thing that I'm working on right now. And I want to tell you guys about TRIPWIRE offers because, oh my gosh, this is one of those things that I have heard people talk about since 2018. And I just never really understood it, to be honest. It's like I did understand it. Obviously, like I've been through TRIPWIRE offer funnels and I've bought things that way, but I just never really understood how to set it up myself until recently. And wow, it's been really transformative. I'm getting more people on my email list passively. I'm making more money passively, which is really cool. And it's not something I've mastered yet. Definitely not. I'm still very new. But seeing the results I've had now with such little effort has just been really cool. And it's something I want to let more sellers know about because I know a lot of teacher sellers, teacher creators, TPT authors, we want passive income. That is one of the biggest reasons we got into an online business so that we don't have to show up online all the time, so we can be making money passively, spending time with our families, traveling, doing the things that we really want to do. So what is a TRIPWIRE offer? I'm going to go deeper into this into the next episode, but basically in the lamest terms, a TRIPWIRE offer is a limited time offer that comes up after opting in for a freebie. So you can see that if we're already creating freebies or if we're already posting lead magnets in places, if we're already driving traffic to our email list, it just makes sense offer a way for them to spend money right now. That could be the product that we're selling ourselves on TPT because we do have low ticket products on there, right? $1, $3, $5 up to the more. And there's upsells and downsells, and we'll talk about that another time. But just imagine that for a second. Like, especially if you're running ads, that you could make some of your money back from the ads by adding a TRIPWIRE offer to the freebie and opt-in that you're doing. And if you're not running ads, just by posting your freebie in Facebook groups, you could make money from that by getting a TRIPWIRE offer on the back end of that because they get an opportunity to spend money with you, and that just pays you a little bit for your time of actually posting in the groups. I can't wait to talk more about this and to share more. I love Elizabeth Goddard. She shares some amazing resources. I just went through her TRIPWIRE course. It's so good. And actually, if you're listening in real time, she has what's called Get It Done Week next week, February 20th, 2023, if you're listening in real time. If you're not, you can still get her mini TRIPWIRE course and workshops. I'll have the links for all those in the show notes. They are affiliate links, but oh my gosh, they're so worth it. These are things I'm literally doing, trying, and seeing results with right now. So I recommend it. But I wanted to make sure I got this out to you in time because I'm going to be doing this Get It Done week. And if you want to do this, if you want to start setting up your evergreen funnels, get more passive income with your email marketing and start building your list at the same time, like that's how easy it can be, right? There are so many ways for us to grow our email list and make more money without just having to keep pumping out more freebies because I know how deflating that can be when it's like, oh, I need to make more money. I don't want to be spending more time making free things. So that's okay. Just position your free things as a way to be able to help you get more sales right then. If you want to try this out with me, I will have a link to her Get It Done week and the TRIPWIRE training course in the show notes. If you're coming in the future and you're like, not in February 2023, you can still get the TRIPWIRE training course and she literally walks you through how to do it. It's great. And the cool thing is it's pretty affordable too. As of when I'm recording this, the TRIPWIRE training Get It Done week is $47. I feel really good about that, especially knowing that I'm going to have other people looking at the funnels I'm building, looking at my TRIPWIRE offer, and being able to make real-time suggestions. Anyone who comes with me is going to get support from me too. So once you've signed up, be sure to send me an email and let me know. So that way I can make sure that I add you to our little group chat on Telegram so we can support each other with our TRIPWIRE offers as well. That's it for this week. I can't wait to see you all chatting about this inside the Facebook group. Yeah, let me know if you end up getting that TRIPWIRE offer training. You can send me a DM on Instagram over at Brittany Verlenich, or you can let me know in the Social Media Magic Podcast Facebook group. Bye for now.